rAVe Radio. With rants and rAVes, you'll be okay. And today is your lucky day. It is Rants and rAVes with Gary K.
Hey everyone, this is Gary K, and today's Rants and rAVes videocast is all about video. Interestingly enough, I'm with Donny Neufuss, who was been with Sonic Foundry a couple of times. You're one of the founding Sonic Foundry employees, I would say. But Donny's currently the director of new business development and strategic partnerships with Sonic Foundry, mostly known for its media site product. Donny, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks so much, Gary, for having me on.
Well, thanks for being on my Rants and rAVe videocast. And, the last 2 years, all of us jumped online. We've been online in meetings. We've been online at events. We've been online in training and certification. And that content is kind of gets lost after the event is over with, right? That content kind of gets shelved. And one of the things that Sonic Foundry is getting ready to launch is some machine learning and AI capabilities around archive video.
Yeah. It's funny if you think about when I first started at Sonic Foundry, there was this one platform. It was called YouTube, right? And that was the only thing that existed that people put video on, and people didn't even really know how to use it, right?
Yeah.
And we were trying to, back then, we started our services division where we were trying to convince event planners to put their videos online and to stream. And they thought we were crazy. They thought, man, if I put my videos online,
no one's going to come.
Yeah, no one's going to come to the event. So fast forward here, now I'm on my second tour at Sonic Foundry, and now there's these things called Netflix and Hulu, and last night there was a second screen streaming 360 experience with the halftime show at the Super Bowl. Things have changed tremendously. And I would also say the amount of people who are creating video, especially, because of the pandemic, you think about it, overnight, suddenly people had to figure out how to be content creators. And so there's a lot of video going on there. And to your point, it's one of these things where it's a checkbox, right? Hey, yeah. I recorded the video, I put it online, case closed, job done, move on from here. But with all of this content being created, how do you find it? I think about my Murano. I was sick and tired of paying people to change my rotors. So I had to go online and find my year-end model on YouTube to figure out how to do it and watch somebody do it. But it took a while for me to find my model and to find a specific good video of it, It's tough. It's all out there. It's really tough to find that stuff, right?
Yeah, and what you're doing is you're going to provide that service to to anyone in and around the AV industry, among others. So if you're a company like, a big integrator that has a bunch of how-tos, you're a manufacturer with a bunch of catalogs of videos on what your products do, or, even us with all the videos we shoot at trade shows, This technology will give you the ability to search inside the video to pull out pieces of the video and words being said, products being shown. When will we see this product, and what is it going to be called?
So I'm not at liberty to announce what the name is yet.
Okay.
There will be an official press release for it. The product is slated. It's right now in a testing phase where we're doing basically screenings of it with different types of customers, right, and different types of thought leaders in the industry, and kind of taking them through it and asking them, how would you use this? How would this be useful? Because here's the truth of the matter. I have been in this industry, practically my entire career, and I fundamentally understood what this thing was that we were building. But about 2 weeks ago, I saw it for the first time, and the child in me, like, I had goosebumps, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And AI has come so far. I mean, so incredibly far. Even within the last year, it's come so far. So when we traditionally think about AI, we think about, it is tagging that you're wearing, a Star Wars shirt, right? Mm-hmm. And that there's a blue background, and, those things we understand. The parts that were magic to me of what it's able to deduce and understand and create based upon the content. So I'll give you one example.
Okay.
So this product is, for lack of a better word, it's going to be an amalgamation of a lot of different AI. It's kind of a one-stop for all AI surrounding video. And we've identified, I think, 90 plus different AI filters to put stuff through. Some of it is what I will say, like automatic editing, video cleanup, noise reduction, those pretty standard things. Some of the other ones get a little into the, the big brother, knowing what emotion you're feeling based upon your facial expression. Things of that nature. Are you paying attention, engagement, all of those things. And then there is the things that absolutely blew my mind. For instance, we have this filter we have tested, and it's working just fine, to do automatic quiz generation. So basically what you do is you say to the AI, hey, every 10 minutes, I want you to take the last 10 minutes of content, and based upon what they were talking about, I want you to automatically ask us a question. Now, the thing that's really kind of special about this is what it does is when it builds the question, it actually pulls in answers that were never said, but it understands the context of the content, and it knows that that could be an answer. And so, I mean, the sophistication of that it understands this and then creates a really kind of challenging quiz on the fly is amazing. Now, if you're a PhD who went to school for creating education curriculum, this ain't for you. That's not the point of it, right? This is something like that people can do on the fly that's showing the engagement, creating quizzes and polls like this.
Yeah. So you could see this being used not just in higher education and K through 12, but also being used in training applications and corporate training applications where, I could see someone like McDonald's using this to teach someone how to work at the store, and then keeping the customer engaged through interactivity to make sure they're paying attention. And if it's AI based, and theoretically, I guess if you put a camera with it, you could change the AI algorithm such that it notices if you're paying attention or not, and can notify. I'm excited about this. I know that there's a lot coming. I think a lot of people look at Sonic Foundry as this company that just does lecture capture in higher education. And I think they don't think about you as sort of a video content services company, which is really what you are.
Well, and I knew the founder really well back in the days of Vegas and Acid and SoundForge and all of those things. If you kind of look at our company, while MediaSite seems very different from producing music with Acid, right? It's always been around enablement tools that allow people to create content and distribute and get it out there quickly. That's always kind of been like, we're real masters of being able to acquire content, manipulate it, and then get it to the people who want it. And that's the other thing that I should mention about part of this new product is this AI is not for MediaSite. MediaSite is one of the platforms. This is for every video platform. This is for, Kaltura, Brightcove, anybody can use this and plug into this and use the power. And I think that's the real important thing, that if you look in the space right now, if you try to go in, like it reminds me back in the event days when everybody came out with mobile apps where you could have your agenda and registration, all that. And everybody thought this was going to be the latest and greatest thing. And before you knew it, there was 100 different event app companies, right? They're doing these events. It's the same thing with what happened with the pandemic and all the video platforms out there. The truth of the matter is there's a lot of very good video platforms. And there's also a lot of organizations that have made a decision and have invested in a significant, portion of their budgets into these platforms to pivot, to be able to deal with the where they are today. So what you will see with a lot of the AI that's out there is the AI is really focused around a platform. And really what we're thinking about is democratization of this, that really this should be something that any video anywhere should be able to use and leverage. And that we're not necessarily going to tell people they need to switch their video platform, right? If they have Brightcove and it's working for them, kudos, great. But there is definitely this power in AI that can be plugged into it to make it more searchable, to make the expediency of the editing, the fronts and the backs, and the delivery of it. There are a lot of places where we can help and we can enhance it, optimize it, and distribute it. And I think it's, that's more where we're kind of going with this type of technology. Obviously, we're continuing to support MediaSite and we're innovating with that platform. Nothing's going away there, but this is something totally new that anybody can use, right? And we really believe that that's the approach that we want to take with this. And as time goes on and as we get feedback from customers, they're going to say, hey, you know what would be great is if it did fill in the blank. And that becomes another filter to the AI, right?
Yeah, so I'm going to put a link into your LinkedIn profile so that people can contact you directly, because you obviously have a passion for this and you're an evangelist for it. But of course, if you're already dealing with Sonic Foundry, you can talk to your Sonic Foundry rep once it's launched. When should we expect the official launch? I know you're doing some private demos right now, but when should we expect official launch?
You know, there's going to be, I don't know exact dates yet. There is going to be an offering yet this year, this fiscal year, that will be more on the services side where we'll be leveraging it. The actual baked product, I believe, is going to start showing up next year, but don't quote me on that. I'm not the product manager of it. But being able to take advantage of this platform and some of this AI, you absolutely will be able to do that with our professional services team, where we'll be able to kind of custom integrate it for your different video platforms. And that's going to be happening, I would say, sometime summertime.
Well, I'll tell you, to learn more, go to sonicfoundry.com. If you don't know who Sonic Foundry is, and of course, I want you to contact Donny so he can put you on his master list of people to contact when the capability first launches to the market. Donny, I'm excited about this just because you know how passionate I am about video. There's not too many organizations in the industry that can say that they've shot over 35,000 videos, but we've done that over the last 12 years, 13 years. But Donny, I appreciate you joining us today. I don't even need to wish you luck. This is going to be big.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gary.
Really and thank you very much, everyone, for joining us for this special video edition of my Rants and rAVes videocast. We've talked all about video with Donny Neufuss, who is one of the original Sonic Foundry people. And you can check out Sonic Foundry at sonicfoundry.com. Of course, you know them for MediaSite. Everyone have a great day.
With Rants and rAVes, you'll be okay. And today is your lucky day. It is Rants and rAVes.